and welcome to the Smoke Room. This is Smokey, and with my guest host, MTB. I am here for episode 7, and we got a guy that um I thought he was a ghost for a second. I ain't had him on here since 2011 around there. Xtreme Tony, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? It's been a long time since I've been here on the smoke room. And before we get started, I do want to say, I wasn't too happy with that match you had against the Great D.
Oh, really?
Because
Hmm.
I know because the Great D's a good friend of mine, and when something like that happens, I mean, I'm not too happy about something like that. But just like him, I'm also a professional. We'll we'll talk about that at a different time. So, but
Yeah.
I am glad to be back though.
Yeah, my Smokey, the Smokey character, he ain't here. Um, this just me, the other Smokey. So yeah, yeah, it's a little confusing, but oh well, we'll roll with it. Uh, Tony, it's good to have you back here, man. I
Yeah,
like that though. You get into it and everything else. Like
yeah.
I love getting into that feud with Great D was freaking awesome.
Mhm.
And that promo we did with each other, man. I'm gonna tell you this right now. You can ask everybody in this.
Yeah, absolutely. That was like one of the best interviews that I've seen in a long time.
Hey, my bad, y'all. Technical difficulties, but I'm back. Um, though, but you should have seen how the Great D was walking, hitting himself in his head, and I was walking back and forth pacing nonstop during that promo. We were driving each other crazy.
I could tell
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
you just hit a couple buttons that.
Yeah, but it's all about professionalism, and both of us stayed in character the whole time, and
Yeah,
we were that it was that worked up over it, but we stayed in character. That's the main thing, and I respect him for that. I respected him more actually, because this is my first time talking to him ever on a call.
yeah. It is hard to try to separate the two between a character and yourself, the person.
Yeah, some
But
people can't do that. Some people can't. Some people
no,
can't.
and some people have accused me of being too much in character, especially in the early years of me doing this CAW.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get this thing started. I'm actually gonna give this question to my guest host over here, MTV. MTV, you go ahead.
Well, Tony, good question. I got a couple ideas for questions. You've been around for a long time, and uh, there's a whole bunch of up and coming leagues who are starting to show themselves, like storyline wise, character wise, starting to come out with original characters or fantasy characters. Any particular up and coming leagues that caught your notice so far?
Let's see. Recently, I've been catching a lot of DCA because a lot of the characters, some of the characters that they have there are already some that I'm already familiar with, but also at the same time as I'm watching DCA, I'm also interested in some of the characters I've never heard before and actually checking them out, and then them catching my interest and tuning in every time they release an episode. But there are other CAW leagues that I'm interested in watching that I haven't checked out yet. Because the one that has caught my attention that I do want to check out in the future is Call of Honor and UCWL. Because a lot of the CAW leagues I used to watch don't post shows anymore, or too sporadic in them showing their episodes. But I do want to have to check out some new ones just to just to see what's going on. And also liking how the competition is like that they're really stepping their game up. How it used to be about like 3, 4, 5 years ago. It's much different now than it was back then.
Yeah, my I remember you telling us before the interview started how you were on hiatus. I know a little something about that. My league went on hiatus for a while, came back as TPGW. I'm finally doing weekly shows again, which is pretty awesome. But Yeah. What was it like coming back after a full year of being off? At
Well,
that.
it wasn't like 1 year off. It was more like two, because like the last like full official episode that I posted before before I came back was like in 2013, and then I was just posting like web match and another web match, and then or like last year posting like weekly episodes of what I call XGW live, which is like kind of like a weekly televised house show, which many times were like non-canon to what was going on, but then all of a sudden I made them canon, where I've had actual title matches and titles have changed hands on those weekly episodes, and it's been part of the CAW league that I run. But but when I took my hiatus, I was actually really burnt out and just decided to just step out of CW altogether. In those 2 years I was away, and
Yeah.
and
I know
and
that.
then
Yeah. Go ahead.
and then ever since I came back, I just like came back more focused and better than ever, more focused on every aspect of what it's like to run a CW league, from storylines to better promos, not just from me and in the other CEW leagues I'm a part of, but be able to do some better writing as far as like the storylines that are going on. And also like just be able to put better matches on, thanks to some of the newer games that have been put out. And also thanks in part of like the newer technology with like the PS4 and then the capture devices, be able to put out these shows much faster than in years past.
It's a lot different than it was back in 2008, 2009. Anyway, you can get done a lot faster. You got Skype now. That's what I was telling them. I keep telling them about how what I used to use. I used to have to use Xfire for commentary with Jamco and all them. But yeah, and I had a similar thing happen to me because I was on hiatus for a while because I was working a lot and I just I just ain't had no motivation to do anything, any call thing because at the time I was building Smokey back up had to build Smokey back up 3 times and it got tiring. I can't. I started losing motivation to do it. Then I ran into D-Wall and he helped me out and I signed here and it's been better since. So I can't complain. But we always I find our way back no matter what. So there's a reason why we're still doing it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, but let's just transition to my next question. NTV is my turn, but so sit back, relax. What is your motivation? What drives you to keep going?
Well, one of my biggest motivators is to entertain and just to build up a lot of skills that has helped me out in many ways outside of CAW, like doing the commentary in character when I do like promos as Extreme Tony. Like I use a different voice than when I do commentary as my Hector Diaz character, or whereas Hector Diaz talked with a higher pitched voice compared to my Extreme Tony character, which kind of like very similar to my normal voice, but putting like that same amount of enthusiasm, just loving what I'm doing here. Every match that I do, even on the live streams where I'm very much more relaxed and more casual about it.
Yeah, I noticed you started doing that, the live streams.
Yeah, I've been doing
Is
them.
there any difference between doing a live stream? Do you enjoy that more actually, and
Well,
taping it and then waiting for a reaction?
well, it's all the same to me, but when I do the
All the
live
same to
streams,
me. But when I do the
with the live streams, I mean, I do get more instant gratification because people will post like as they're watching, whereas with when I do like a episode where I do editing and uploading it and then waiting for them to watch it and then give me a reaction afterwards is, but it is more rewarding when I post an official episode and putting all that work to on each episode, and then people appreciating the work that I put in. That's a bigger payoff than doing like an episode of XGW live, but it's still like worth doing everything that I do.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, MCB. Your turn.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. And from a story standing, how do you go about putting your stories together? Like, do you plan out a pay per view and then fill in the fill in the blanks in between, or do you just go with the flow as time goes on?
I actually do like a little bit of both, where I do go like on a per episode basis, but I do try to have a plan like leading up to a CPV or Super Show Mega Event or whatever. Like 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 for example, with like leading up to my upcoming show Thug Life, like starting with episode 85 of XGWO Charge, going with those 3 episodes plus 2 episodes of the B show, which is worldwide, and just building the storylines from there. But there's been times where I had to do a couple things last minute just to fill out the card for a CPV, which sometimes like it's unfortunate that I wish I didn't have to do that, but I sometimes I do have to, just because I may have forgotten to maybe build that storyline for a title, but I do try to build like for every leading up to every CPV. But there's a few that I'm working like super long feuds, like for example the anarchist angle that's going on in XGWL, where we had one leader of the anarchists and got taken over by someone else who's a new leader of the anarchists, and they're taking things to the next level, and is becoming like the top heel stable in that's going on right now. That's been like my long term feud with the rest of the XGW locker room.
Yeah.
Okay.
When sorry to cut you off there, Smokey. Uh, yeah, I know what it's like to do it. Because you have to find that right moment, that right feud, because you have to say, okay, I want this guy to go for this title, but I want this to happen in the meantime, and it's all these different factors going in, and you have to figure out a way to include all these different factors, and whether or not you have enough shows or even enough time to do all that. That can be quite difficult. So
Yeah, exactly. So it is very hard, and especially when you have like intertwining storylines, or when you want to do this, but then one party is unable to be part of that storyline because they're entangled in another one, or they might be out with a kayfabe injury, or maybe it's not ready to be put up because maybe they're so far down the card.
yeah, and you know that that's why I like pre-shows for CPVs. That's why I like doing pre-shows, because it allows me to either fill in the blanks for some story that I can do later, or I can do some stories that aren't really catching wind, and I can conclude them on those pre-shows so I can move on. But at the same time, it's like you have to try and find that good middle ground for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing is I used to do pre-shows like many years back, but then in like the last like past like 10, 12 CPVs I've not done a a pre-show, but I think the next CPV that I might be doing, I will have a pre-show, because the one that follows this one is called The Moment of Truth, and then I have a couple more leading up to like XGW's equivalent of WrestleMania, which I've called In the House. which is like kind of like my WrestleMania there.
Yeah.
Okay. My turn. Okay, it's Smokey. Smokey's turn. Smokey's, the host who's supposed to ask the questions originally. Okay. Okay, back to me. Okay, my show. My show, not a TV show. It's the Smokey show.
All right, I get it.
Okay, back to it. Okay. I asked this question the last few times about Call All Stars. What is your opinion on the development of this thing? Because I always say this is supposed to be a big time show. It's called Call All Stars. Um, what do you think? Because they don't really got a lot of subscribers based on what it is. It's 500 and some subscribers, which that is a big event. It should have more. What do you think would bring a crowd in, bring in new people?
Well,
Like an
one
idea.
one thing is like you got to have like the right talent coming in. As far as like just having 500 subscribers, I don't think we have a big enough community to have like more than 500 subscribers. But hey, like that's amazing. I mean, I just barely
I
got
agree.
300 subscribers in XGWL, but a lot of those like aren't like like inactive accounts. And then another thing that's been going on on YouTube's part is that a lot of that the YouTube algorithm has been unsubscribing people. And then at the end of every video that I do on XGW Live, I tell people like if you're not subscribed, you can subscribe, and if you are a subscriber, to hit the bell icon because of the algorithm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you heard, but I finally got back. I finally, after 9 years, I finally get back to Call Stars. Ever since Call Stars won, I was off. I got to the first match at the first show, and I went on any other shows up until this year. I'm facing Ben Hitman.
I mean, I do
What?
like the concept of Call All Stars because there has been a lot of other like super interpromotional shows like this one, and there were some pretty good ones. Like there was this one called Cauvasion, which had me versus Danny
Yeah,
Jackpot in the main event, which was pretty good.
yeah. I don't even want to no comment on that dude.
Smokey don't like Danny Jackpot.
Moving on. Moving on.
I'm not
Shut
gonna
up. Don't, don't
look.
say his
I'm not
name.
gonna go any further. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's cool. Go ahead. You can get. I allow it since it's
But
you and you're my friend. You can
but
go ahead.
anyways, like the other one that's going on is like I used to host this this super show called Global Warning, but then I gave the rights to someone else to host the Global Warning super show, interpromotional super show, because I wanted to have more CPVs out a year because I used to do four, now I'm trying to do six.
Yeah. I think one thing personally that car stores need is better, more interaction, more promos, interesting promos, and more build up storylines. If you can have a storyline that's built up like we're planning, I'm gonna prove that you can get a crowd in there if you have a build up story. You got people invested in it, and that's what working on right now. We're gonna start working on it, and everything's gonna come together, and it's gonna be good. And I'm gonna show people that you can bring in people like that.
Hmm.
And I'm and and moving on and transitioning and to the next one, community. Um, the community is it used to be a little bit bigger than it is now until the community got twisted upside down and scattered everywhere. But what do you? I personally think that it is possible to get back to a good, you know, get more people back here. If you show them, it ain't like it was, cause it was all chaos. You had Bird and all them people
Oh
everywhere causing
yes.
chaos, and trust me, I know I was in the middle of it. Um,
It's
it was a bunch of stupid stuff looking back on it. Go
one
ahead.
thing though is if Plumpy from What Culture was to do a list of things that Extreme Tony wants you to forget about Extreme Tony, I'm pretty sure that this will be one of them. The whole Burb situation and the whole Dratsab situation, because
Yeah,
those are things that shouldn't have happened and shouldn't be in the CW community because I mean it does come with the territory of the trolls and everything because
yeah.
after
I don't.
all this
Yeah.
is the internet
Mm,
and people will post anonymously like that.
yeah. But what do you think is what could bring back the community?
One
Um, I'm personally thinking, good storylines. You do more. You talk to people like polls, matches, polls like make matches, whatever, like big matches. They have control over the main event, what type of match, etc.
well one thing though is that the CW community is building back up. Maybe not with the old guard from many years back, but with a lot of new faces that I've seen
Yeah,
in like the past 2 3 years that I've ever since I've come back. And there's like a lot of CW wrestlers that I've never heard before, and 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 a lot has changed. Like
oh yeah, and they
a
all
lot of the talent
just
has really picked up. Like
yeah,
I think because I have mentioned that before, and really just to drive the point home that like the action in CEW is like everything's like across the board is a lot better than it was like many years back.
yeah, because we do voice promos now more. It wasn't like that back then.
No, you're right, because not too many people knew how to cut a promo,
No,
and
it sucks.
and the only thing we had was using text to have them to when they do when the wrestler does an in-ring or a backstage promo is having them use the text for the wrestler to talk for them, but there's been a lot of people that know how to cut promos now. And then one thing and then to follow up that point is that I have I've been to a wrestling seminar over at the LA Comic Con this past October, and there was like Shad Gaspard from JT from Crime Time and Rob Van Dam and Victoria Ortera, and then two other wrestlers I never heard about, and then in that discussion panel talking about promos and then a lot of those things that I learned from that promo are is a lot of things that I used on JC Wolf on CCL Adrenaline episode 90. And they were talking about how you build someone up just to tear them down, and that is exactly what I used in the promo there. And and that's what makes a good promo. And then I've also seen on an episode of Wrestling with Regret on Getting Into the Biz having Joseph Joe Brody on there talking about promos and how it's like one of one of the big things that's gonna make or break someone, and it's gotta be like your strongest suit. And I've really really taking that seriously, especially when doing promos. And I think if once we get better with promo, I think we'll have a better product out there. It's just because it is building up storylines and building up characters.
Yeah, that's true, but some people just I seen some. Trust me, I seen some bad, especially on COH. I'm sorry, but there's some bad ones. There's a lot of bad ones, but there's a lot of good ones too. But there's a lot of bad ones.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop before I get in trouble. Okay, MTV, save me here.
All right, so yeah, going back to promos. So a lot of people have been getting better at promos. I know some of the stuff I've been doing is I've been trying to step up my game, and I've been seeing a lot of other people step up their game too. Like some of the stuff Malik Brown has done recently. My God, man.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, he's like, he has a good character. He has a pretty good move set, and then his promo work is pretty top notch.
Yeah, and by the time this episode comes out, the Matt Farrell promo where he calls out the NIS will be out. So I hope people like that. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, going back to promos, one of the things that I discovered that a lot of people didn't do back in the day was have a lot put more emotion into it. Like you hear a lot of guys saying that I'm the best, I can do whatever I can because I've got all this raw talent, blah 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 blah. It was a lot of it back in the day was the same promos over and over again, and I'm guilty of that myself.
As am I. Not just with my character, but just what most of the characters in that had an XGW in those early days, unless it's someone that I've given like creative control, and then I let them do their own promos, and then you can see those promos standing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's what I like about doing promos. I can find a way to, especially now. I can go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, and well, it's like you
Go
were
ahead.
saying, Smokey. One of the great things about doing promos now is that it helps you build your character. When you put your actual emotion into that, like say, a lot of the times when Smokey does a voice promo, usually he's very pissed off at Sahaya for some reason, and so he channels that into his promos, and it comes out really well.
Yeah, like mostly a lot of people that do voice promos for their characters, because because you do learn about their personalities, because they do bring in their personalities into the promos that they do.
Yeah.
And it does like make them even better.
Yeah, and the hardest part about doing a promo in your own league, I'd have to say, is when you're not only the wrestler, but you're the guy interviewing the wrestler too. Because,
yes.
because then you have to play off yourself. But I think that's the hardest thing, but also the easiest thing, because at that point you're inside your own mind, and you know exactly what to say and when to say it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But yeah. I don't think I've had to do that yet. Or if I was to do that, I would have to get like some other people to do commentary for XGWL, and then have my commentator character Hector Diaz being the backstage interviewer, and then interviewing my character, for example. And then that'll be a very awkward situation because the two voices are similar but yet different.
Yeah. That's the hard part with Matt Farrell, because I can't I try to make Matt Farrell sound different, but when it's your wrestler, you just want to put your own voice into it.
Uh-huh.
Because you always when we're kids, we always dream of going up to the top of the mountain and winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania from Triple H or something.
Oh yes.
So the only thing we can think of is, oh my God, this is me, and this is me right now. I'm the guy that's gonna take down, that's gonna call out the NIS, that's gonna call out Evolution or something. I don't know.
I can see you a little toy championship MTV jumping up. Yeah. Oh God.
You know what's funny
continue.
though?
I had to
like, you know what's funny, guys? Like, what is like? How many times has your CW character has been compared to someone in actual pro wrestling? Like either like someone from WWE or TNA, or someone from Ring of Honor or some other wrestling promotion out there.
Oh God. Well, just
really enough.
But
really enough,
yeah, go ahead, Smokey.
I said, weirdly enough, I ain't never, and that's shocking to me because everybody does. I hear it all the time. Great Day gets compared to The Rock, and a bunch of others, but I ain't never had one person
That
ever come up to
that's
me and
not
say,
true,
"Hey,
Smokey.
your character reminds me of this."
Yeah, that's not true,
Oh,
Smokey.
really?
I hear tons of people compare your character to Stone Cold all the time.
Stone Cold.
Yeah.
That's great.
Wait, that
That's
isn't that Ray Geddes though?
that's what I'm
Because
saying. That's what I was thinking.
I've heard people compare Smokey to Stone Cold though. I have.
I, I
hmm.
never. Hmm. Okay, you
Well,
go ahead. And finish.
who have my character been compared to, like as both an owner and a wrestler? Like I know I've been given the comparison to like Jeff Jarrett and
Oh.
Vern Gagne
Oh
and
yeah. The
sometimes Vince McMahon. As far as like in other wrestling companies, like in like if like in like Extreme Tony in both ACW and CCL, being called the company champion,
oh
and
wow.
like comparable to like a John Cena or a which like I know I've talked like in private with some of the other CW owners I'm a part of and like who I'm going to feud with and saying this guy and then who do you want to win and I said me but he said like wouldn't that make you like the John Cena of CW and my response is like given how long I've been in CW that comparison is going to be inevitable
Most definitely.
like eventually it's good
Big
that
match, Tony.
yeah yeah pretty much
I don't give a fuck. First off, push me. If I can hold a title for like a good long time, I ain't man. People can kiss my ass. It won't hurt my feelings one bit.
especially that my CW character is a 9-time former CW champion and only 3 of them have been in XGWL and the 6 other ones have been in other CW leagues.
So here's it.
I know.
So on that subject, here's an interesting question. And when is the right time to put the shoulders down for someone else?
Hmm, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I know.
Because nobody
Like
wants to do it. No,
I
nobody
like
actually
it,
really
know how.
does.
I mean it's fine to lose every now and then, but then but
When
then
yeah.
If the
like
characters warrants it, if they build up right, don't ruin their push. You know, if they got this build up, all this build up thing, and you're not really that build up, you can kind of be running dry or whatever. If they're strong, they're building stronger than yours, then you need to take that 10. Honestly,
because it does get much harder because everyone like we mentioned earlier how like all the talent in the CEW leagues have has improved dramatically since like many years back and everyone has been stepping up their game and there's either you improve with that or you decline
yeah,
there's like no
evolve.
in between because like my CW character is like very similar to me in real life like same age as me like losing a step now that I've getting older and then being in the early years being much heavier because I was pretty heavy at that time and nowadays I'm a lot leaner than I was back then and then I've implemented that in my character changes in the move sets changing in in different maybe a couple of changes in the attire or even in the attitude just based on how long I've been a part of it and it does show like in different times of my CW character's career shown like where I where I was back then and where I am now
Yeah.
and and just and all that does reflect where I've been.
Yeah, and we're gonna move on a little bit and transition from this to considered the perfect opportunity. And we're gonna move it to what are some of your dream matches of some matches you've never been in with anybody? And I give you five matches you've never been in with somebody. I mean, not matches, but matchups.
Hmm. That is a very interesting question, though, because some of the matches that I would like to see, as far as my character goes, is like Extreme Tony with like JC Wolf, because I'm like in that promo, I have made that comparison to a young XT from a decade ago, and made very similarities between the XT of back in the day and JC Wolf right now, and that would be a I would love to see a match like that. I don't know where it's gonna happen, but that would be an interesting one. And then another one would be Extreme Tony versus Smokey, because we've been in the same locker rooms, in the same rosters, but never really had a match one on one, or even in a tag team or a multi man match, whether it was like a fatal four way or like a battle royal. See, my third one that I would like to see for Extreme Tony is like XT versus. As you guys are putting me on the spot here, hard to think of things off the top of my head. But I would like to see a rematch against Matt Phoenix. Even though that was a match there, even though we had many other matches in the past, but that would be a pretty good feud there. Let's see, my other ones would be like a match against like, let's see. How about a fantasy character? Because we don't see that too often, fantasy versus original. Because in a lot of CEW leagues that have both fantasy and original, like a lot of CEW league owners that have both usually keep them separate. But I would like to see Extreme Tony versus a fantasy character like Super Mario, for example. That'll be a good one. And then the
I heard
top,
somebody say something earlier about that too about me.
and then
I can't remember. My bad.
mhm. And then the last one to round off this top five. Hmm. I would like to see XT versus like. Hmm. I think. Whew, hard to say.
Hey, I'll say one. I name one for you: Malik Brown versus String Tony, because that'd be a good match too. I think that'd be a good match.
Yeah, that would be a good one. But I think we're both baby faces right now at the moment.
I mean, nobody babyface. Malik is far from babyface. He freaking psycho.
JC Wolf is a heel,
I'm saying that
and
he's he made Malik makes Jason Wolf look like a freaking bitch boy. I'm sorry, Wolf. I'm sorry, but I hate to say it. He does. I'm real. I got to the truth here. It's my fuck it. Can't help it. Okay, MTV, moving on. Go ahead and ask questions.
Hmm. You talk about dream matches for Extreme Tony. What if you were gonna have XT show up in another league these days, what would it be?
let's see. There are a couple of CEW leagues that I'm interested in joining, because I do have a rule where I have to be part of like no more than four, and since CCL is on their seventh and final season, that does leave a spot open of CEW leagues that would want to work for it. And right now DCA is at the top of my list. Maybe Call of Honor is another one. I think those are the only two that I can think of that once CCL has their finished their seventh and final season, that I do want to be signed to another CEW league.
You do know Ray got one, right? Coming out. GESL.
Wait, what?
I said Ray Geddes.
Uh huh.
He got a league coming out called GSL. And
Oh,
me and him have been talking, and he was on the show for the first episode of the season, my return episode, and we
okay.
talked for like an hour or something. Um, yeah, he got a league out. You'd probably be interested in joining him. You can talk to him or whatever, and talk plan out. But he's gonna run a good league.
Hmm. But not only what, not just for my character, but like in years past, people have asked me like who are starting up a brand new CEW league, asking like, can Extreme Tony be part of my CEW league? And I do offer some of the other XGWL talent, so it's not just me being putting just Extreme Tony in all these CEW leagues, but also am interested in having some of my other talent be in other CEW leagues as well, not just in XGWL.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest problem with having such a
What I mean by that
big
is
name
like,
in a small league, is that
uh-huh.
people are going to instantly push you, probably for a world title. When what they should be doing, in my personal opinion, is building up their own homegrown talent, and putting them off into other leagues to be showcased, get their name out. I think that's a good way, because when you've been around for 10 plus years and everybody knows who you are, you're going to be pushed. You're going to get a super push most of the time, I believe.
Like,
Not for
and that's what I've been saying. Like I do have other characters that I've personally created that would be a good fit for other CW leagues as well, not just XGWL, but also have like my farm league, which is WCDL, which I've just created a couple of new characters that they're like trying to build up and then be ready for the next to be called up to the main roster soon.
Yeah.
Go ahead, NTV. I forgot my question, and you can ask another one if you want to. I forgot it. I got to think.
Uh. Well, I can't think of any really important ones, so I'll just ask a useless one.
Okay.
Have you ever watched TPGW?
um, I can't say that I have.
Yeah, and that's fine. I only got like 43 subscribers right now, so a lot of people. It's not a lot of people. I didn't want to ask that question because it's a question that's like on every guy's mind when he's trying to get his name out there, but you don't want to ask people, "Hey, have you seen my league yet? Hey, have you seen my league yet?"
Oh yes.
And I hate asking that to people. Hey, have you seen this league yet? It's just
I
like I like to let my work speak for me, not myself.
Yeah, I used to do that in the early days, and given how tacky and desperate that sounds, I really stopped doing it. Like once I realized how bad that was.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do like a joke plug on while doing commentary for DCA, like, oh yeah, and check out Hawaiian Beach Bash starting Sunday, July 16th. Don't miss it, folks. But that's just me having fun at that point. But I don't like to ask. It's a little bit. I feel like it's a little conceited to ask people, hey, have you seen my league yet?
Mm. I mean, I understand because I've been on both sides of that, and if people like it, they'll have an interest in or their curiosity has sparked up, then they'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tony, yeah, I finally got my question. What do you expect in the next year and a half? What are you wanting to accomplish in the next year and a half or 2 years? And the coming since you came back from hiatus that we discussed earlier. What you want to do?
Let's see. For starters, I do want to build up like build up the talent that I've had the past 6 7 years. That like some of them are in WCDL, some of them are on the main roster, and I do want to build them up to start going after titles because I've had some of my original characters that I've created finally capturing some titles, like Brandon Thomas, who's been mainly along a a jobber at times and going back and forth between XGWL and WCDL. Like first capturing the XGWL Pure title in 2012, and then this earlier this year winning the XGWL Cruzeiro Championship, and then a guy like Trey Steele, who I debuted in 2010, being one of the best and longest reigning tag team champions I had in XGWL, and then like some of the other talents that I've had in other CEW leagues, capturing titles in over there, and then it does tie back into like other like some of the about if you want to be part of this CEW league, and how I said that I do want to get some of my other talents that I've created in other CEW leagues as well. So that ties that back to that question. And that's like
Yeah.
one of the goals I want to accomplish. The other one is to double my subscribers. Currently, I have like a little bit over 300, trying to get to about 600. And then the other thing I want to accomplish is I do want to like be more active, like do commentary as Hector Diaz for other CEW leagues, and and find other ways we can post our CEW leagues, not just in our community, but maybe try out some other places, because I'm probably one of the few that have experimented posting XGWL outside of the CEW community just to try out, see where if it'll connect with this audience, and it hasn't, so I stopped posting there, but I still want to try again, maybe try a different place outside of the CEW community, see it might click. That's like some of the goals that I want to accomplish within the next 2 years. Now that I've come back and stronger than ever.
Yeah, that's the thing though. It never hurts to take a risk because worst thing can happen and nothing happen. Nothing happens. But if some good happens, then it pay off.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's worth it to take a risk. Like I stayed quiet for a while, a few years, because I was building myself back up, and I let that I let that get to me a little bit, and it kind of put me in a down spiral. But and then I realized, I'm Smokey. I'm fucking Smokey, and I need to start fucking acting like it. I need to step up, and I need to freaking start doing my promos and doing everything.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, and going back to that reaching out thing. One of the things I found that helps is like going to other places, going to other wrestling communities, not just call communities, but going to wrestling communities, like those wrestling seminars you were talking about. That would be an
Hmm.
interesting way to get the word out about call leagues out here right now.
Hey, you know what the funny
Yeah, I'm
thing
back.
is that I've ordered some business cards of XGWL a couple of years back, and I've handed out sporadically.
Yeah, my boss. I work in a movie theater in real life, and my boss. One of the things she did, I told her I told her about it, and what she does is she writes for a local newspaper, and she actually put an ad for my YouTube page in the local news.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, but yeah, we're gonna move on. One more. We're gonna ask a couple more questions. And then we'll let Tony go. Unless he want to continue to talk, and we'll be here for 3 hours. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
at the
we're
beginning of this,
getting up to the first one.
yeah, At the beginning, you brought up mine Great D's match. And it looked like you were trying to do a promo. Are you trying to challenge me or something?
Well, if the cards do play right, then we might have a match. But if not, then
Are
I
you
can't.
sure? I'm getting back into it now. You want to try to do a promo? I can put the Smokey face on,
Hey,
and we can do this right now.
once in a lifetime, I could have it at Revolution 3. I don't have a complete card yet.
Hmm, that would be
Yeah.
interesting.
What
First time ever.
what I see is that Tony didn't like the way I've been speaking about taking out, being uh, uh, basically saying that the top call stole my spot, like Tony and everybody else. Whenever I was in this down spiral, and they took advantage of that and took it away from me, and I should have had the call Star Championship anyway, and but that's the way it's going. But yeah, you don't like the way I'm acting, and you didn't like the way I did Great D, and you're here to stop me or something like that. That's the way I see
Hmm.
it. If you come to DCA, but you never know. But yeah, I see it like this though. Extreme Tony, you want a piece? I find you. If you don't find me, I find you first because I always find my toy, and when I do, it won't be pretty.
Hmm.
But yeah, MTB, you got any more questions?
Nah, I'm pretty much covered.
Okay, I got one more. And then I usually ask this to help. I usually let the guest ask the question to me, but I let you ask the question to me or MTV or both of us. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, this one's for both of you guys. Like, what's one of the?
Hmm.
Have you guys done any live streams yet for your CEW leagues?
Not yet, but I think I'm doing a show in September called Crossroads. It's like my SummerSlam, my second biggest show of the year, and it's the first one ever. I think in order to do something different with it, I want to have a live stream with it.
Hmm.
So I
All
think
right,
that might be
that's
something I finally
I,
do.
that does sound pretty interesting.
I ain't had colleagues since 8 years. 8 years has been since I ain't had FDW,
All right,
and I miss it, but I ain't got the time.
see, my second question for you guys is like, how you, how do you guys feel like about like women's virtual wrestling these past couple years? Because I think it's gotten much better and much more interesting now than it was back then.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking on that point, it goes back to the point of where I don't like to talk. I don't like to ask people, "Have you seen my league yet?" But if I was going to recommend them to my league, I would say it's because of the women's roster. I have an extremely diverse women's roster. Like when Dave and I started TPGW, the first thing we did was we did a women's tournament because that we wanted to get people's attention. We wanted to give an eye to the women of professional wrestling
Yeah,
because back then it was like 5 minute bathroom breaks for women's matches on WWE programming. So we
yeah,
said,
the,
Yeah.
well, there's some really talented women out there, and we can make some really talented women. So let's showcase this stuff. And it's
Yeah.
honestly got us our most views.
Yeah, I kind of agree. But if I could put my Smokey character in, it's taken away from Smokey time for real. Smokey time is more important. See, but back out of it. So I see the think it's pretty good. I actually been able to make my little sister. She's in DCA now in Wildcats. Trish.
oh
So I got
yes,
after 10 years, I debuted my little sister. Yeah, it started slow, but I'm letting her build up herself. I ain't gonna say I don't like having her say, she's Smokey's little sister all the time. I want her to build her I want her character to develop naturally, and it's gonna happen because I did the same thing with Smokey. I just put him out there, and I promoted, and it fell where it did. And that's what I got to tell everybody else. I mean, Tony, you can probably speak about this too. This is gonna be an extra question, but um, when you put a call out there, when you put your call out there, you can't just be like pestering everybody if you nonstop. But you can go out there and you be like, hey, you know, if you got any spots available, I have this call such and such, such and such. Um, when you if you got a chance, if you got a slot available, or you in the future you do, could you please consider my call? And they'll see how you act and everything else, and see you ain't one of them egomaniacs or people who take it too seriously.
Yes,
But yeah,
because there's a lot of people in the CW community that that are like that, or there's some that are formerly of the CW community that were driven out because of that, and some that I've worked with, and and a few of them that almost drove me out of CW in those early years.
I know.
I won't mention any names, but
Uh,
one of them had to do with a network that I used to be that XGWL used to be a part of,
oh God.
and
Okay.
I think I've heard stories about that.
yes, and then the storyline where my own CW league was taken away from me and having to do things their way, and then that was
See,
really an
see,
unpleasant time.
see, look at this. That's the thing. Reason why I had so much heat back then. I will say this. I ain't gonna say much about it because I don't like drama on my show. But I will say, I ain't no bitch, and I made it clear back then. I wasn't gonna take the shit. I was gonna post it. If you said something behind my back and I found out about it, I put that video right then and there. I put a video right then. If everybody knows me, the people who still subscribe to me from back then, will tell you. Freaking, I'm real, and I'm freaking damn I'll attack you back.
Hmm.
I, but I'm a lot calmer than I used to be. I used to drink a lot, and now I don't drink no more. I've been sober for almost 2 years, so
That's good. I'm happy for you.
yeah, I'm good. I still smoke weed, but I'm good.
Oh yeah.
Well, then you wouldn't be
Don't.
Smokey if you didn't smoke.
Well,
Nah,
I don't know if you guys notice, but every once in a while I do blaze up a little bit of the yerba.
uh-oh. But yeah,
Well, not
I,
all the time, but every once in a while.
yeah. Closing this whole thing up. I'm gonna give the floor to you. What you got? Tell the fans where they can find you that don't know where you are, and just talk to them. And uh, they probably ain't heard from you in a while if they lost contact with you or whatever. But you have the floor.
Well, one thing is like I do have like I'm all over social media. Like if I do have two YouTube channels, one where it's like my official, like my main channel, and then I have the other one that's like the XGWL channel where I post like the official episodes of XGWL, and then my main channel has been all the live streams. And then if you want to follow me on Twitter, it is at Xtreme Tony, and if you want to check out the Facebook page, it is facebook.com/xgwl show, and I still have a forum called CW Mainstream that you could definitely check out. And then if you Google CW Mainstream, it'll be the first link. I can guarantee you that.
Oh, cool.
And then another funny thing is that I've Googled my name, like Xtreme Tony, and it does show up on like like my CW like the YouTube channel, the like my Twitter, like a lot of things that are part of things that I do, and then and if you Google XGWL, like like the Facebook page shows up, and then everything and a lot of pictures that I posted about my CW league are on there. So just a couple of tidbits there, a little bit of trivia, but basically that's like everything that's XGW related. Like my Twitter, the XGW Facebook page, and I
Yeah.
also I've been using like that's like I also post on the Facebook groups like the Video Game Wrestling Network, and also have a new XGW Facebook group that's called XGW Fan Nation, which I've used like that's been like very dormant for many years, but recently I've put some stock into it, wanted to really build it up
Yeah.
to talk about things that are going on in XGWL.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I had the same thing recently. I recently made a group too called Call Takeover. It was supposed to be a. And the general idea is, I'm trying to get all the communities, to come together a little bit more. They ain't got to come together permanently. It is, come together and talk and meet new people and come up with new ideas. And it's always good to meet good people. And if you go here and you just talk and exchange ideas, talk, and you possibly get a call that is only used somewhere else that another league could possibly use, something like that. It's always something in the promotional shows. There's a match that people have been wanting to watch and something like that. It'd be perfect, and that grow the fan base.
Yeah.
Um, but I see, I want this thing to work out, but if it don't, it's all good because I still put my effort in my promos and I do everything I possibly can to make the community better. And that's what we all should do. We all should try to do that. I wish more people would stand up and be like, this is, we need to step up. We need to step up and do more for the fans, and we need to do something to make grow the fan base instead of sitting here and like, I don't know what to do. But, um, I'm stepping up, and I've been telling everybody else the last few shows. I'm waiting for somebody else to stand up with me. But I'm getting a good reception. Somewhat. It's very quiet, but I got confidence it's gonna work out, and I'm just glad I finally got you back on here. I lost contact with you for a while because I've been busy. It's good to have you talk to you
Yeah.
and and catch up and bullshit around. But and we got MTV over here. My guest host, my very first time ever having a guest host in 10 years.
Well, it's been a
So
blast, Smokey.
yeah, I appreciate you doing it because I never thought in a million years. I got Dave to come in, but he's busy at the moment. But I never thought in a million years that I would ever have a guest host ever. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna close it down. MTV, you got anything to final to say?
Nothing but a shameless self plug.
Go, go ahead. Go ahead. You're gonna do it anyway.
Hey guys, this has been MTV to HKK on the Smoke Room. Be sure to check out the People's Global
Go ahead.
Wrestling at www.youtube.com/wearetpwf. But nonetheless, it's been a blast, and I hope to be back on here again.
Okay. Did you say it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm looking at Tony over here, and I'm gonna say, what I put my promo out. I put my challenge out there. I'm expecting you now, Tony. I'm expecting when I wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna see a promo up. So you better have a promo. I'm gonna put one out on you. Tell you, Tony.
I yeah, like I said, if the cards fall in right, we will have a match, and we will see
Yeah.
who is the better man.
Yeah. But I'm serious now. I want a promo. I want a promo tomorrow. Anyway, I,
Hey,
I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming. Go
Yeah, no
ahead.
problem. Anytime.
And I just want to sign off. Oh, we should be done. Okay. This is Smokey. This is Tony, and this is MTV. Peace out. This is from the Smoke Room.